I made $123,000 in my first full year selling print-on-demand products on Etsy. And in today's video, I want to shed some light on what I actually did to get there. So if you're new to Etsy or you're looking to grow, stick around as we will cover what didn't work, what actually worked, my first year's revenue and profit breakdown, which I haven't really talked about in depth before, and honestly what I should have done better in my first full calendar year. So for those who don't know what print-on-demand is a process where you create designs and then you list them for sale on a marketplace like Etsy. And then when you actually get a sale, you connect that specific order to a production partner on a site like Printify. They then produce and ship the item for you. And you as the seller don't have to incur any risk or really do anything with the inventory itself. We just sit back and we watch more sales come in and then we connect those to Printify. It's pretty neat stuff. And if you want, I also have a free Etsy quick starter kit that includes my profit calculator, my top 10 best-selling evergreen niches, along with 3 different starter kits that is designed for you to be able to list and get your first sale fast. And you can check more info about that in the description down below. So, what didn't work in my first year? Well, in the beginning, honestly, most things didn't work at all, especially my designs. So let's take a look at some of my first designs. So these were some of my first designs. So I found this niche, which basically say like F-U-C-K, and it's spelled out. I thought it was kind of funny because I like memes myself. And I come from the like Facebook ad agency world, like because I started doing that the first thing that I did as my first business. And when you do Facebook ads, you have to do so many different creatives to find which one actually works, because like the video itself is creative and that is the one that's actually determining how well your campaign is going. So you have to do so many different videos to see which works. And I took that mindset of testing into this. So I just make a design and then make small variations. The big problem with this whole line of thinking was that I didn't base much of my designs out of research. I was in the niche. I thought this could look great in the niche, but like the icons you see here, like I basically did the same thing with different icons because I thought the icons would like make or break the listing, which was kind of weird. Again, when you start this, you have some false preconceived conceptions. You think that things are in ways that they aren't. And that is the thing that actually like leads you astray and not to get results. Because what I can see from now is that these designs were not at all based in research. Like the only thing that I could see was like slightly based in research was like the kind of rainbow sunsets that I was trying to do here. But also these are squared, so they don't really look like a rainbow sunset. Usually I like the retro sunsets, but like the retro sunsets doesn't really look like this. Plus the icons themselves are just random. So I should have used like research designs and like seeing that, okay, if I want to do a retro sunset, I should probably either make a retro sunset and what that is and understand what that is. And I shouldn't do this like 50 million times over, because that was like a big mistake that I did. In the beginning, I listed about 30 to 50 listings a day. It usually amounted to about 500 listings a month, which was kind of crazy and a lot of listing fees, which it just wasn't super good. So this was a major mistake that I did in the beginning, because I thought that if I just make a lot of it and I'll get better and do things. And again, I got really good and really fast at listing, but that didn't really help me at all. Because the thing that really helped me was when I actually started to do like research designs. One other thing that I also really want to touch on is that you can see here that the mockup that I use is not like a common mockup that was actually used on Etsy, because I honestly had the notion that you should use mockups that aren't that commonly used, because then you stick out on the platform. And that was also a major reason why it didn't get clicked in search, because people didn't find this enticing to click. I should have followed like the proven mockup framework that I have now, and you can watch a full rundown of that in my full 7-hour course, which you can find here or here. I think it's like here. You can watch the listing optimization part of that to understand how I think about mockups. But like I didn't follow any like proven framework at all. I thought that, okay, I should stick out in the marketplace. So I should have something different compared to what anyone else has. And that didn't really work at all. So that was a lot of stuff that didn't work. So mainly the designs and like mainly the mockups. Apart from that too, I also used a ton of text in my listings. And because honestly, when it comes to mockups, the only thing that really works is to use proven mockups. And again, I go through that in the video that I have in the card. But apart from that, one thing that I did really bad was that I used a lot of text in my listing images, and no customer really wants to read a bunch of text when they're purchasing on Etsy. So as you can probably see looking at this, I made a ton of mistakes, which probably a lot of us have that have done Etsy for a long time. Now, I still made over 6K in revenue that year. So what actually worked? So what worked for me later on, it's honestly hard to say because I tried an enormous amount of different things, but the main thing that drove me to succeed was researching designs. I can't really state enough how important it is to base designs out of research. To make it basically kind of easy what I mean here, if you make designs that you like, that'd be great if you would be the person to buy it. But you're not the customer here. You gotta base it on what they want and not what you want. An easy way of doing that is to use Everbee, download the backend data of several shops that you want to be like, and then analyze the CSV you get in that big Google Sheet file so you can actually understand common denominators in these designs to understand what actually makes them sell. There are major commonalities in design, and doing it this way fast tracks it. I go through that in my big 7-hour Etsy course as well, and you can find that here or here if I can add the same cart twice. But in the research part of that I go through that entirely. Another thing apart from that too, which was crucial, was to double down on things that worked. So when I actually found a design that really started working in a niche, I went all in on it. And I scaled out the design to similar sub-niches, and I also added similar designs in the same niche. I'll give you an example. So if I made one design that started to sell really well in like the first grade teacher niche, then it would be perfect to make a second grade teacher version of it. Why not an English teacher version of it as well? So I basically make variations of the design itself within the first grade teacher niche. I would do that as well so I can dominate the first grade teacher niche as well. So we just flip the design around to make more designs in the first grade teacher niche so I could dominate the first grade teacher niche, as well as like putting it in similar sub niches like the second grade teacher niche, like the English teacher niche, and so forth. But all of this also come with a very important assumption that is also hard to actually do, and that's to be consistent. Because in order to double down or to even do research designs, it's key to actually be consistent in testing out stuff, even when things aren't really working, because that's how you really learn. You can honestly just get better one day at a time. And if you're not keeping at it and just quitting after like 1 month or so, then this is never going to work. So consistency, as we've all honestly probably heard by now, is key, because without it, nothing really works. Because if you go here into this opportunity 1 month and then this opportunity the second month, you don't get the chance to get good at something. And that's the key to actually make anything work. Now, let's talk about my first year's revenue and profit breakdown. Now, here's a full breakdown of my first full year on Etsy. I made about $123,000, and of that, $23,317 is profit. The crazy part was that I really struggled all year long, and I literally made more than half of what I earned all year long in just Q4, which is October, November, and December. More specifically, I made $53,868 all the way up till September, and of that revenue, $11,328 was profit. And then in just Q4 alone, I made $68,486, and that was revenue. And that in profit, that is $11,837. And that was the profit part. It was honestly a whole crazy ride at the beginning there, as I was basically living off of $500 to $1,000 a month, apart from Q4, where I just made I basically did all the money that I made all the way up until September. I made all of that money again, and honestly even more, in just Q4 alone. So Q4 is really powerful. Now, what should I have done better here? Now, there's a lot of things that I should have done better to get my results faster, and the primary one of those would be to make research designs. I should have used a tool like Everbee and based what designs to even do. I should have based that on research, not just my own intuition. Apart from that, focusing on the offer itself is crucial, as even if someone loves the design, if it's too expensive, displayed on the wrong mockups, a customer can't even return it, or they have a hard time to just read through all of your listing images because it feels like novels, then you lose out on the potential sale there because of the offer itself. So the second thing, apart from the research designs, would be to focus on creating a great offer. I talk about how to create a great offer in my full 7+ hour free course that I have on my channel, and you can watch that here or here. I think it's here. And if you want to learn more about that, you can find all of the info in that whole video. That's all I had for this one, and I'll see you in the next one.